Watching Kyle's unboxing videos again?
Yeah, he always finds the coolest... No way! A robot dog? Gotta ask where he got it.
Or use your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Just draw a circle around the dog on your screen, and it shows you where to buy it right in the app.
Whoa, I just learned a new trick. And that for once, I beat Kyle to the next big thing.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and circle the search with Google. Get yours now at Samsung.com. Internet connection required. Results may vary based on visuals.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Feud, Capote versus the Swans. Inspired by actual events, the series tells the story of Truman Capote and the women he betrayed. The original housewives. They were society's most elite women. Rich, glamorous socialites who defined a bygone era of high society New York. From creator Ryan Murphy, this drama series features an all-star cast, including Naomi Watts, Demi Moore, and Diane Lane. FX's Feud premieres January 31st on FX Stream on Hulu.
ElectraCast.
So it's a foundation that builds schools to empower youth living in extreme poverty in Africa. That originally was to build primary schools, 1st to 6th grade. We had 7 in Senegal, Mali, Malawi, those 3 countries. And then I went gorilla trekking in Rwanda.
Welcome to Unapologetically Fab,
where we take you on a journey of discovery as we collectively explore how to stay fab.
and live this life by our own design without apologies. I'm Stefany Baclaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert.
Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about the discovery of vulnerability, the willingness to accept emotional risk that comes from being open to love and being loved in the world we are today. What up?
Hey, how are you?
Hi, aloha.
You know what aloha, mahalo.
Mahalo.
Wait, is that right or wrong to do aloha?
Aloha is like your greeting for everything, and mahalo is thank you.
Oh, so thank you. Thank you for being so fabulous and being here.
Mahalo for being so fabulous.
Yeah. That's how we roll. Okay, what?
Shaka bra.
Shaka bra.
Shaka is like the kind. This is
the kind, bro.
This is
the kind, bro.
We're idiots.
I know. I'm just such a dork. I'm a dork. You know what I wanted to ask you about? And I keep forgetting to ask you about this because I think it's been a while since I've asked you because I think we were so disconnected at this point. I never asked you how your birthday month vacation time with your family was because, you were unreachable.
Unreachable with no Wi-Fi in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, is that even a thing anymore? It really was. It was like I couldn't get my computer to connect. I couldn't anything. So basically I said to Eden, I'm going to give up talking to you guys now, and I'm just going to drink for the next month. My vacation was amazing. Let me just say for this one, even people that knew me that saw pictures, this probably was the most freeing birthday, freeing vacation, the most freeing I've ever felt in my entire life. Like there was no attachments. There was no sadness. I mean, I've been doing all this healing. And before I left, I haven't been dating. I've been celibate and stuff I've been going through these celibacy spells. And it was also Mexico between Playa del Carmen and Tulum. And I didn't want to go there with any attachments or like worrying about if someone was going to text me or, you know what I mean? Like I just wanted to be Stefany. And my son didn't go. It was just me, my mom, and dad. I've lived in Mexico for 20 years. I had businesses there at one time in my life. And I had so much fun. Like there was no judgment. I drank with my parents. I'd go running and come back at 8:00 in the morning and be like, so should we do a shot? Like, what are we doing? Because I had nothing else to do but go to the beach. So for that, it was the first time that I can actually say I was unapologetically fab, drinking all day, tanning, hanging out with my friends. I have never had that in my life. So that was actually a first in this adult life that I'm living, turning 25.
Forever.
I'm turning 25. So I felt like all the experience that I went through, I get to do whatever the fuck I want now.
Yeah.
And I'm wiser about it. And it was so free.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
And the birthday month, I had so many celebrations.
Yes.
Anyway. That's enough about
fun.
The birthday.
Well, I'm glad it was so freeing and fabulous because that's what we're all about.
Let's get to our guest today, founder of Omni Peace. Omni Peace is one of the first humanitarian fashion brands. A t-shirt company donated all of its proceeds to building schools in Africa. Founder Mary Fanaro. Hey, welcome.
Yay. Hello.
I mean, there's so much more to her, but we'll let her talk.
I think that was on the old Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I'm going to have to help her next time with these. But it's okay because you're fabulous.
It's fabulous. So
Yes.
Give us a little brief history of who you are and the discovery of Omni Peace.
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this absolutely fabulous show.
Hey.
That description was in about 2007. I launched a t-shirt company that coincidentally I had no idea was one of the first socially conscious brands in retail. I had no idea that somehow the power of uniting celebrities, conscious consumerism was becoming a thing where the consumer, if they were purchasing an item and they saw that part of their money was going towards something fabulous, then their dollar meant more to them, their spending. And the t-shirt raised money to build schools in Africa. And so we just kind of exploded and sold millions of t-shirts and just happened to have a few celebrities wearing it at the same time, which made it even more fabulous.
It always helps.
Yes. And we built 7 schools pretty quickly.
7?
Yes.
How did you found this and what inspired you to bring this to light?
I was producing events in the entertainment business, and I was helping my friend do the 10-year anniversary of the Hard Rock Hotel, who owned it at the time. We were standing around. It was the Saturday night where the whole hotel closes down for the anniversaries, and there were just 200 people, invitation only, at the entire hotel. And we were standing in the middle of Nobu. It was a 200-person hosted dinner, and I looked around, and I had helped put it together, and I just thought, I'm going to keep using that word, fabulous.
It is.
This is fabulous, and everybody looked beautiful, and I was having so much fun, but I had never felt more empty. And I thought, okay, there's a gift here, but I don't know what it is, because all it really feels like it is that I'm great at throwing parties. And that I can get a lot of people in a room that sometimes other people care about, because some of those people happen to be celebrities. And I can make that matter. And at the same time, a lot of people can have a lot of fun. So that combination was kind of a great trifecta. But I had not connected the dots to how is that going to mean what I'm going to do next in my life. And I flew home after that weekend, and I'm a good Italian Catholic girl. And I got on my knees and I prayed like my good Italian grandmother taught me how to. And I was like, I'm good at one thing, which is basically throwing parties. And you got to make that lead to something, because I have no idea. And about a week later, I was invited to the filming of Bono's One campaign. He was launching the One campaign, which is the relief of African debt. He was launching Red at the Gap, so everything red. He then went on to do, deals with iPod. And so everything red was about also curing disease, tuberculosis, AIDS. And I just thought, wait a minute, T-shirts, build schools. It was a divine order, and it was a divine intervention, because I didn't think like that at the time. It was really about getting quiet and asking what I'm here to do. And it was a big ask, and it was a big leap of faith, and it was a big kind of what you called earlier, taking risks.
So uncertainty is a part of vulnerability. Absolutely. So you were uncertain about what you were going to do past throwing parties, and you needed something more fulfilling. How do you feel about being unapologetically fab? Do you feel you're unapologetically fab in general?
Sometimes. I definitely don't feel like that all the time. I think there are moments more so when I'm at my schools in Africa that I feel unapologetically fab.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in my power. I feel like that's...
I mean, I can feel your power there.
Right.
Differently than I feel it here. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, because you were there.
Yeah.
So as I was saying that, I was thinking about that moment where we gave you that guitar and we were hugging, and there's such a great picture of us by the wall, the legacy wall. But yeah, there's something about hearing these kids sing in this school that I created, and I'm always looking around going, who did this? Who is this
Well,
person?
Let's give our listeners a little briefing on what Omni Peace is actually, because I don't think they actually know. I know you two know each other.
Right.
So this is also, I'm learning also with our listeners, what is Omni Peace and what inspired you to do that? We already kind of got to that.
Right.
But what is it?
Yeah. So it's a foundation that builds schools to empower youth living in extreme poverty in Africa. That originally was to build primary schools, 1st to 6th grade. We had 7 in Senegal, Mali, Malawi, those 3 countries. And then I went gorilla trekking in Rwanda just to gorilla trek, have a great time. I had heard about it, was curious about the country of Rwanda, genocide. I had been on some safaris, and a friend of mine said, if you've been on safari, the next thing to do is to go on a gorilla trek. I was like, I'm going. And I went, and my cab driver became a friend of mine because I was there for 2 weeks. I was alone, so you become friends with your cab driver who's with you every day. And at the end of the trip, he turned around and he said, I want you to build a music school. I know you build schools. I want my son to learn how to perform and to play. There are no music schools here, and I want you to build one. And you might as well have asked me to build a spaceship. I mean, that was not on my agenda. It was not anything that I knew anything about. I know, I'm not a musician. I have no musical talent whatsoever. I don't really know people in the music business in, this town. So it was just all wrong, everything about it. And I said no. And, there's this great saying, I've also been sober for 20 years. So there's this great saying, we make plans and God laughs. So I said no. And I came home and I ran into a friend of mine and I told him the story. He said, oh, that's exactly what you're going to do. And I'm going to introduce you to the guy that's going to help you do it. And it just happened to be the guy that was running Music Cares, which is a fundraising arm of the Grammy Foundation. And we had about $100,000 worth of instruments, donated to us in probably about 30 days and on their way shipped to Rwanda, which would have been another $100,000 had we had to raise money to ship them. So I'm like this on my computer, Googling how to start a music school for dummies. Yeah. No lie.
Well, that is fab in itself.
I mean,
that is beyond fab. And what was your first step to bringing that to fruition?
So all I knew at that point was that I needed to land in Rwanda and get the instruments out of customs. That's all I knew I had to do because I wasn't going to let down Gibson Foundation, Roland, DW Drums, the biggest music manufacturers in the world, were then going to look at me and go, wait, we just gave this girl all this and she didn't do anything with it. So that's all I knew is that I had to go back. I really didn't think it was going to work. I was just kind of going through the motions. And about a week before I was leaving, I was invited to a women's luncheon, and the woman sitting next to me happened to be from Rwanda. I've lived in LA since I was 21 years old. I've never, ever met anybody from Rwanda.
My hair just stood up on my arms for real. It's like if the universe wasn't meant to make that connection.
It was a series of kind of divine interventions, but then it gets better, as if it can get better. She said, I tell her the story, and she says, no problem. I'm going to help you build this music school because my best friend is there right now. He's about to become head of Berklee College of Music Composition, and he's there on a Guggenheim Fellowship. He'll do everything you need him to do. He teaches workshops to children all over the world. And I called him up, and I said, I'm coming there. I'm supposed to build a music school, and I don't know what I'm doing. And he said, no problem. And I got there, and he found a space. He found the kids. The kids were from a place called Gasimba Orphanage, which was a very famous orphanage where the owner of it, whose name was Gasimba, housed 800 orphans in the rafters of the roof and saved their lives. Another foundation called Meg Foundation for women who, during this genocide, really never recovered, so they needed help taking care of their kids. And he found teachers from Musicians Without Borders. And these are teachers that go into conflict zones and war zones, and they teach these kids how to get through trauma through music. And they teach these kids that vitamin they've been taking is not a vitamin. They have AIDS, and they need to take that pill for the rest of their lives. And they do all of this through music. It's all trauma-related work. And I learned, for not being a musician, more about music and the power of music and the power of using music as a tool to heal trauma
100%.
and kids and Africa in a country that had a genocide 25 years ago. And it was like having open heart surgery without anesthesia. I mean, it cracked me open.
Yeah. And
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
then Mary has been through so many challenges with this particular organization. And this is why you were on the top of my who should be on our unapologetically fab list. Really, just you never apologize, nor should you. And you just keep going forward, even though there's been so many obstacles in your way. And I've been there during some of them, and we have worked through them together, and you work through so many alone. She would literally, Mary built Omni Peace, I would say solo. If we bring Courtney in from the beginning with the t-shirts, that's one thing. But when you really dove into this years later without the t-shirt and just on events that are at Vibrato, ironically now, and we're going to outgrow Vibrato. We're going to get to the point where it's definitely not going to happen at Vibrato. we need to double the seats, which we will do. Yeah. It's mind-blowing to see how you've grown, even through COVID, the growth that you've had. So, I mean, I hope you know how unapologetically fab you are and how unapologetically fab I think you are. And that's why you were on the top of our list of people to interview. I can't thank you enough for being here, because what you do is so important. And, you know, in my opinion, music and education are everything. It's therapy. It's a healer. Yeah. It's you know, Stefany's a dancer, and loves music in every kind of way. And then our producers are in the music industry as well. And so it all comes together with a flow. And
well, my father, my real father that I didn't really know really well, was a musician, and they traveled all over the islands of Hawaii and played. And my father actually could play every single instrument.
Wow.
And I know how to play 0 instruments. And that's something that I have his ukulele. That's something I want to try to do.
Maybe Brian can teach you.
It's like sitting up against the wall in your house somewhere.
It's a nice decor, but I really want to try just in honor of my father and music, especially. Because how do I not know how to play music?
Yeah.
Well,
and that's...
You have other talents. You know, I got a musically inclined father. I have an ear for talent. So I can't play. I see this beautiful piano in my house, but I certainly can't play. But I know what I'm good at with music. I have an ear, and I can tell you who's good and who maybe should be signed or shouldn't be signed. I worked in publishing. But, you know, Mary not coming from music and having no idea anything about music, that's pretty fabulous.
And
what
now,
you created
and this is
in this
your
music
life
world.
now. This is what you've built.
Yeah.
And it's huge. Let me say from my perspective, right, just by the driver saying, you know, I want you to build a school. He saw something in you. And that will lead to my next question is what do you know about yourself that others see? How have you inspired others? And then what do you see that they see?
I don't think I see what they see until they tell me what they see. And then I'm able to kind of either facilitate what they're asking me to do because they see that in me, or I guess not.
Maybe you're inspired by what they see.
Right. Exactly. It brings something up in me that obviously I didn't see myself. And I think that in life for me is the way that I see things is through other people, right? Like we get messages through other people. We get, you know, that I think that is divine order. Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting because that's what we want to do on this show is inspire people. And like we ask these questions and sometimes you don't know. Right. I know Eden's 100% confident that she's unapologetically fab. Right. I know for me, it took a process. It was a discovery of a process. Yeah. And now we're talking and I see the uncertainty from the beginning and the vulnerability. And then you don't see yourself as other people see you unless you're told. So this is how I feel like this is how we're going to inspire, because we all are different. Our brains are all wired different. But at the end of the day, we all got here some way because of our own selves.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to own. And that's what we have to remember, is you are always unapologetically fab. Like when that question is asked.
She is, but we've talked about age. Sometimes when we're young, we're just not able to envision or not mature enough yet to get to the point of being unapologetic or secure with ourselves, right? I think things really shifted for Mary, and correct me if I'm wrong, for many reasons, and later in life, right? So a lot about what the show is about is how we can reinvent ourselves and how we recreate ourselves, and how we have, all of a sudden, we have this unapologetically fab feeling about ourselves that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. It is about living and leaning into your life by your own design.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
And you've designed how you wanted to move forward from the event planning.
Right.
That was your life by design.
That was my life, yes.
And, you've designed this whole beautiful, fabulous giving back in the most gracious way, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
I would love to know more about that too. And when we talk about this,
you just have to come and see it for yourself.
Yeah, I would love that.
We do have an event on May 30th by Broader Village. We are going to promote this a little bit.
Oh yeah, there's a gala.
Rwanda rocks, and I'll let her tell you more about it. But one of the things I talk about is it doesn't have to be you necessarily giving cash, right? It
like
could
monetarily,
be you right?
Yeah.
It could be you coming to Rwanda. It could be you bringing in an artist. It could be you bringing in someone who does give monetarily. Whatever it is, you have something to give. Mary has so much to give. I mean, by the way, Omni Peace, and I'm going to just interject this. I didn't tell you. There's other things she has going on. She has shows that are in the works, which I'll let Mary speak about. But this is how fabulous, that stuff's not going to be online yet because it's in the works. And I don't know what I can and can't say.
Yeah.
But she's probably one of the most prolific writers. I mean, every time I need something written,
your cute little face.
Every time I need something written for me, I call Mary. And if I want her to dig into someone, can you write a letter that's like a FU letter to someone? But she's so
unapologetic, horrific,
and fabulous. Seriously fabulous. She can write. This mother can write.
I just want to. Can I say something?
You can.
To Eden.
Uh-oh.
Because, things don't happen for Omni Peace Foundation without the help of others. And we met many times up at the Glen just in passing because we both
and the Glen Center is where
yes.
We both live very close to, and where Vibrato is in many other stores.
Right, exactly. Where we go to all of them. So in passing, we would always, see each other. And then, somehow I must have asked if she would get involved when I started these music schools, or it was before, I think. And I mean, within seconds, she just talking about leaned into it in a way that was if we had known each other for our whole lives, and with every bit of her heart and every bit of her soul. And, it made all the difference in the world. Like, we were able to do all the work we were able to do last year because of her. And it is people, that come in, and it takes a village. Mm-hmm. And, she is a large part of that village.
Thank you.
So, unapologetically fab makes sense for you to be doing this. And you, now that I've met you, I mean, it's just naturally for you. Clearly.
How things just kind of fall together is kind of how we fell together in this. I mean, we fell in love at first sight when we were, 5-something years ago.
Yeah.
On set, and here we are today doing a podcast, being fabulous.
Yes.
Yes.
And leaning into the fabulousness.
Yeah.
Because we all have our insecurities and the doubts and I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But we are here because we're fabulous. And we've went through the bad, the good, everything. So what skill or personality trait that you really feel like you worked on?
I think it would be passion. Like, when I get really passionate about something, there's no
stopping
letting up. Yeah, we don't stop. And that's funny. That's what I say to kind of my team at the house when we're all working together. I'm like, we don't stop. And that's it. That's just how we roll no matter what. And you would think that the work that we do, you know, we have a team of 20 people. It's just 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And then
Okay.
she's got a board.
Right.
The team.
Now.
Yeah, we have a big board
But now we have a board now, right? But
you have a board.
Yeah.
But that's the village. But
that
you
is the
came from a
village. But
small little
originally it
fam.
was me and my assistant who's still with me for 15 years. It was really just us and really the licensing agent who was getting us all the deals for the T-shirts in the beginning. So it's never been more than really 3 people. And we just started building a board a couple years ago when Eden came on board.
What do you think one of your greatest flaws are that got you to being so unapologetically fabulous?
Getting sober. Yeah. I definitely enjoyed not being connected to my feelings. So the way to do that for me would be to grab whatever I could and do whatever I did with that. And that would, you know, create many, many years of a life that I was not present for.
That is defined the fabulousness because you have felt now you that vulnerability, you feel it.
Yeah.
You are all a part of that.
Yes.
That is in you now. Now you're certain. Now you know
Well.
who you are. I mean, we're all not
Yeah.
certain, but let's
Right.
say
Yes.
because we are secure with who we are at this
Right.
day and age,
Yes.
or we should be learning and discovering that.
Yeah.
My last question to you is, what does living in gratitude mean to you?
It's a daily effort to live in gratitude because it's so easy to wake up and go through the motions of the day and forget what all the things there are to be grateful for instead of thinking of all the things I have to do on my to-do list, all the things I have to accomplish today, all the things I want to accomplish over the next year. It's hard to sit in a moment and go, hold on a second. How about, and for me, because I've seen the opposite, running water, heat, a great bed, a great pillow, food, water that you can go to your refrigerator and get, right? Just the really basic human aspects that are connected to basic human dignity. Taking a bath, those kind of simple things. My friends, my mother, who probably doesn't, have much longer to live, and all of the people that help me kind of live my dreams.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank
You
you.
are fabulous.
You are fabulous.
Thank you for speaking with us today, Mary.
Thank you for
It was
having
great
me.
to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. Please join us on our next episode with holistic beauty coach Amanda Porta, who herself, survivor of breast implant illness, healed herself and is now an advocate for women who are going through their own explant journeys. I'd like to end with a quote. For love, you have to accept the uncertainty. To love, you need to manage your fear of the unknown. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Unapologetically Fab, a production of ElectraCast Media. I'm your host and producer, Stefany Baclaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert, co-host and producer.
Our executive producers are Mark Netter.
And Peter Rafelson.
And our sound engineer is Chris Sousa. If you like our show, which I hope you do, please rate and review us
Wherever you listen to podcasts.
ElectraCast.
Welcome, explorers of the human experience. This is Let's Talk Soul, and I'm your host, Claudia Monticelli. We're not afraid of the great mysteries of existence here. Soul versus consciousness, we're on it. Spirituality versus science, we've got that covered too. Join us in navigating these profound topics with wisdom, curiosity, and a dash of audacity. Whether you're a spiritual veteran or just starting your journey, Let's Talk Soul is your passport to the unknown. Let's Talk Soul, diving into the depths of the human spirit. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you passionate about saving the planet for future generations? Do you want to learn how to do it? If yes, then you need to tune in to the Nature Backed podcast. It's a talk show covering the changing world around us, from renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, circular economy, to ESG and social innovation. Don't miss this opportunity to discover how you can join the movement and make a difference. Subscribe to the Nature Back podcast today on your favorite platform and get ready to be amazed.